Hello there, internet. Welcome back to the Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict, and today we're going to be talking about Maiden Ice Rose, the newest addition into the roster of 140 characters we have in Nike, and an actual really good character. I would recommend pulling one copy, 100% if you only came here for that. 100% pull one copy. Do you need dupes? Not really. You gotta skip dupes, alright? Limited characters, way too many units coming on a monthly basis in Nike. I would not recommend going for more than one copy unless waifu for the background is the only reason. Or if you are close to the level cap, those are like the only two reasons to pull for more copies in Nike, to be honest. That said, before we start, leave a like, subscribe. Let's go into like a super quick TLDR on how to build her, and then we'll go into more explanations and jump for a little bit longer. Before we start, leave a like, subscribe, help me grow the channel. We'll go into all of this testing later in a second. And let's start with a quick TLDR if you want. The website has been updated with the tier list and her guide already. If you want to check, this is a day one review, of course. Things might change, but when it comes to the tier list placement, most likely it can stay in there. We'll talk about it in a second as well. So, how to build her TLDR, or 1 minute quick build if you wish. 7, 10, 7 for her skills. I would not go 10, 10, 10 just because the increase in damage you get from going from 7 to 10 is not that good. It's not that great. So I don't think it's necessary. 7, 10, 7 is more than enough. When it comes to Cube, Bastion and Resilience, depending on fast reload characters or not, as usual, are still the top picks. Now, Vigor is actually worth considering using if it's leveled up, because a level 5 Vigor is still worse than a level 9 Resilience, just for the raw stats that they are giving you. It's for that. So if your Vigor cube is leveled up, you can actually run Vigor and it will increase her damage thanks to the max HP. If not, just passing on Resilience as usual. When it comes to stat priority, Elemental and Attack, even though we're hitting that point of how much elemental is too much elemental damage, because he's getting herself like 40% plus whatever any other buffers you're using, etc. So we're getting a lot of elemental, but still elemental and attack priority, max ammo, and then charge speed, charge damage for the secondary lines. The rest is just fillers, whatever you get. Pretty simple character to build, honestly. Let's talk a little bit about her skills though, more in depth, and where she's on the tier list as well. So starting with skill 1, her MP mechanics are kind of weird because they are not stacks. So this MP is not stackable. If you're using something like Mika, something like Bialis doesn't work here, but like Christmas Mika will not increase the stacks of MP. The conditions for acquiring this are set and you cannot bypass it with duplicating stacks, at least not with Mika. I didn't test with anyone else because Bialis is water only. So you will recover MP every time you enter burst stage 1 only if MP is 0. So if you have 0 MP, you enter burst 1, you recover 1 MP. But if you're using Tia and you re-enter B1, you already get 1 MP, so you are not getting another MP when you enter burst stage 1 again. I assume they did this because if not, we could have found ways of making her do a lot more damage before bursting, which kind of makes sense, but it's kind of weird, let's say. So also when entering full burst, she will get a 1 MP if her MP is above 1. So she will always be getting 1 MP all the time you enter burst stage 1. And then when she bursts herself, she's going to be getting a second MP, right? Pretty good. So those are the only two ways of getting MP right now. And then, of course, when she attacks with full charge for 6 times, she increases her max HP without restoring HP for 50 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. This is the only reason why you would care about the stacks, to actually get this up, because max HP makes her do more damage on her burst. We'll talk about that in a second as well. So, pretty simple skill 1 is just about her MP mechanic and how to obtain it, plus her max HP buff. Pretty cool. That's why you can keep this at 4. Maybe 7 if you want her to be doing more damage. I would personally go 7 because how good she is, but you could keep this at 4. When it comes to skill 2, Blessings Upon You. This activates when MP is replenished. Replenishing MP means obtaining a point as long as it's above 1. Okay, so this only procs when you enter full burst. That's the only way this procs. This affects all electric codes allied effects for herself, increasing elemental damage and attack. Really good buff. 40% elemental damage, 20% attack for everyone that's Electro. Pretty good. This is already a better buff than Sameranis for just for the elemental, which is pretty nice. And that's what you will see that when we were testing her versus Sameranis most of the time, she was making Cinderella do more damage, which is already a plus. Like that's already a victory, right? Now we have 2 teams for Electro that we can fully invest into. I think Electro right now is the strongest element when it comes to how many characters we have that are actually good. Because yes, you have great units on Iron, but you don't have 2 teams on Iron that are great. you have DPSs, you have a supporter or a couple supporters, but not two teams. Same for Wind. You have some supporters there, you have SPS, but you don't have two full teams. So Electro keeps winning, it keeps getting stronger, and this is a really good move. And then also, every time you use MP, affects herself, increasing her own elemental damage and her own attack based on her final max HP. This is also a pretty good move, self-move based on her max HP, which pairs well with skill 1. So pretty simple, right? And then lastly, exactly like Sameranis with her last bullet mechanic, but even more auto-friendly and beginner-friendly, every time she attacks with full charge, she will be dealing 550%, almost 547% of final attack as damage. That is huge. That's why making her do the same damage or pretty similar to Sameranis, depending on the situation, and that's already a really strong character. As you all know, Sameranis has been a unit that since she came out, right, last summer or whatever the fuck it was, I don't even remember, she's been top for Electro since then. Be it co-op, be it raids, be it as a buffer for other Electro characters, and now you have someone who is doing a little bit better in terms of buffing Electro characters, and also depending on the composition with max HP, she's doing even more damage than Sameranis. So that's already reason enough to be pulling for her. Still, Sameranis is better waifu, in my opinion. That's a skill 2, let's go into her burst. Her burst basically just deals damage, nothing else, okay? Pretty simple. Now, the good thing about her burst is that it's a great multiplier. We're talking about a 1300% of attack that is calculated on 10% of the caster's final max HP. Kind of a long description, but once again, pairing really well with this max HP. And if you're using something like Rogue, Mast, etc., whoever it is, it's even better. She also attacks continuously based on the number of MP. So multiple things. Usually, if you are always bursting every other rotation with her, you only get 2 MP, right? Meaning you will attack twice with this skill. It's pretty good. Can you wait until I get 12 stacks, Sefhi? Is it better? No, because then you're using it as an off-burst character. You could be using Maiden as an off-burst, but it's losing a lot of damage. This is not like Ludmilla, Christmas Ludmilla. This is not like Modernia. Characters that you want to have as off-burst because it's how much damage they do on their own and with their debuff with Ludmilla, right? No, you want to be bursting with her. She loses a lot of damage if she's not bursting, and we were testing this earlier with 3 burst 3s. So in my opinion, even though you could be waiting until you get more MP stacks, it's not really worth it, and I would just be bursting every other rotation, consuming the 2 stacks that you are always getting. Now let's move a little bit into team compositions because this is really good right now. Like I was saying, Electro right now keeps winning. Like we have so many good characters for Electro. Like you have your Ain, your Sameranis, your Cindy, your Scarlet, made primitive for the shotgun teams. You have really good buffers as well with your Naga, and we also have Rogue as well. So when it comes to Rogue, she increases max HP, and we knew she was the best option as a B1 with Cinderella, which is the strongest character in the game by far anyway. But now we have another character that also benefits from this. So now you can separate or remove your Sameranis from this team. Your Cinderella is doing the same damage, if not more, depending on, again, depending on investment. Mine was doing more because it's more elemental advantage. So Cindy is doing even more damage. Your Sameranis is free for another team, and you can put whatever other supports you want in here. Most likely it's going to be Crone, depending on what we're doing, but since this is the hardest hitting team, you want to be running Crone rather than putting Blank. Most likely your Blank and Nor will stay on your shotgun team. This is still perfect. This is still really, really good because this means now you can have multiple teams where your other girls are going to be free up. So more team compositions for Electro. You can put your Exia with the Treasure on the other team with Sameranis and Ain, for example. People were using Ain in this composition with Sameranis. Now you could be running just something like this. You could even keep Sameranis as the off-burst, by the way, if you wanted to, right? Still, I think it's kind of a waste of so many buffs considering you can put another team, but up to you. Now, when it comes to the test and how much damage it's doing, I want to show some of them, not all of them, but so you guys can see the different investments I went through. So the top line is going to be my Maiden, right? 444, Overload 0, Phase 0, Doll, Bond 0, and the bottom line is going to be my Sameranis, right? 10, 10, 10, Overload level 5, Phase 5 SR, Doll, and a Bond 30. As you can see, Cindy with Rogue at Maiden was doing 3.1, and Maiden was doing 8.3. So that was already like a good initial test, and I was like, all right, it's worth investing into her and see how far we can take this. So I took my Maiden to 7, 10, 7. Phase 0 though, nothing else when it comes to the increase. I was running Declare Wife in some test, so it's neutral for both DPSs. right? So both DPSs are neutral. As you can see, with Ain right here, Ain is doing 1.3 on both teams, and Sameran is doing 1.2, with Maiden doing 1.1. Again, on a 7-10-7, overload 0, phase 0 doll, etc. Now, I went also on this with Cinderella, right? With the killer wife, so it's not a rogue, doesn't benefit them. 2.8 with Sameranis, 2.8 with Maiden, and they are doing both the same damage. This is with low investment. There is a lot more tests, but I don't need to go into all of them. Then we move into both of them 10-10-10, right? Both of them being 10-10-10. Getting the overload level 0 and a phase 5 SR doll as well. And we were doing already 1.1 and 2.9 in contrast to the previous one, which was right there. So that was already better than running Sameranis. Then I also changed to Vigor Cube. So as you can see, the one on the right is Vigor Cube and the one on the left was my Resilience. So it's still great. It's the same damage on a level 5 Vigor Cube versus a level 9 Resilience that I was running. So if your Vigor Cube is even higher, you can benefit even more from this. And then lastly, I was like, okay, she's good. Let me just go phase 15 doll. Bond 10. I only got one copy, cannot go higher than that, right? And I was getting Cindy doing 3.1 and Maiden getting 1.2. So there is not a really big increase on going from like that 7-10-7 and going 10-10-10. I will say the doll made a bigger impact than going 10-10-10. That's why I was saying don't go 10-10-10, it's not worth it. And then we ran into Scarrow account. His Scarrow account is phase 15 SR doll, 10-7-9. All 5, of course, Bond 30, and then Sameranis was like 10-10-10, only phase 5 doll though. I was like, okay, let's stay with this. And with Rogue, we were doing literally like 20-something billion, almost 30 billion damage. 19 for Cinderella, 5.5 for Maiden, 4.4 for Anis, 19 for Cinderella. So Cinderella gets the same buff or pretty similar, but then you're also doing even more damage thanks to Rogue. With Maiden, that's a billion extra damage, right? Which is really good. Now, Scarrow is not like a good example of comparison because it's like level 800, but still, it was pretty nice. And with the killer wife, to normalize it a little bit more, right? So there is no benefit for either Sameranis or Maiden. We're doing 4.5 with Sameranis and 4.7 with Maiden, which is still pretty good. Now, all of these tests, there is more teams we could be running. I ran some teams with Ain, I ran some teams with Scarlet as well. The results are the same, doesn't change too much because again, Maiden just buffs Electro characters. Specifically, it doesn't matter what they do, she just buffs them. When it comes to neutral content, she's still a character that will be doing good, but of course, just like Sameranis, where you're gonna take most advantage of this, it's on the bosses that are weak to Electro. Now, all that japping aside, let's check the tier list because if she is a little bit better than Sameranis, right? Or pretty much close, they are both right there. She has to be also at the same level of Sameranis on the tier list. So right now she is 0.5. I don't think we're going to be putting her any higher. We'll see if anything changes, but right now they want review with the elemental flag. She's right there, and she is a T0.5 character. 100%. Amazing character. Just like Sameranis, right? If Sameranis is here, she deserves to be here at least. When it comes to recommended pulling, I would 100% recommend getting at least one copy if you can. There is no need to go for dupes. If you want to go for dupes, go for it. Personally, I'm just going for one copy and chilling. All that said, when it comes to her review, you guys can go read it itself. I think we mentioned most of the stuff. The only downside that I can say to this character, that it's mentioned right there as well, is that both Electro buffers are limited characters. So both Maiden and Anis are limited units, and if you don't get them now, you're kind of fucked. Because we don't know if Shift Up is going to be rerunning them or not. Because we don't have Rupee or Miracle Fairy End right now on the shop. So are we getting them later this month? Or are limited characters really limited? After 2 years, they're gone, right? So we'll see in 2 weeks or 3 if that's like a really down or not. That's it. That's gonna be it for this one. As usual, boys, we're gonna be live later, okay? We made a new thumbnail. Martial law in the arc. We're gonna be live. Come say hello. Have a great time with Dovan and Birmingham. We're gonna be live in a few hours when this video is up. Feel free to drop by, say hello. It's gonna be it for this one. Thank you to my patrons for making this content possible. Link in the description. Good luck with your pool, the internet. I'll see you on the next one.
役立たずは楽園から追放するのみ。ブランとノワールのショータイムです。天地万物を切るとはこういうことです。